Hello everyone, Leo here, your friendly neighbor, dermatology guy, and Chilean science fiction author person. I'm sorry, just laughing with myself. Well, so I know it's been a while since the last video. I have a lot of things pending, but so the thing is, I already recorded two other videos, not long, short videos, but they are under process because I'm working with Ale, my friend, who is gonna do some edits to those videos. So I'm waiting for that. And it took me a long time to do that, so it's not Ale's fault, by the way. But anyway, in the meantime, I just wanted to upload something new just to keep the channel alive. I'm still around. And well, I actually just recovered from a week with COVID. Yes. Even though I have been exposed since 2019 working in the hospital, just now I finally got it like officially with a positive test result and all of that, because I felt kind of sick before. Probably had it before as well. I mean, I know a lot of people who's got it more than once. But this thing really got me. I had an awful time. My wife and I, we just spent 7 days isolated here at our home. At least 3 days, they were awful. I had a fever and pain and all that comes with it. But so anyways, it's finally over. I finally feel kind of good. I'm back spiritually. So well, take care, get your vaccines and whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe. But so anyway, I know this channel is about Chilean science fiction. I do not have something in particular for this video. Just wanted to do something. I'm gonna tell you what I want to do. I want to show you one of my favorite books. That's the topic here, because that what came to mind. My favorite book overall, like out of all, not specifically Chilean, but just for the channel's sake, I'm gonna show you what's the latest Chilean science fiction book that I got. I haven't read it yet, but this is the latest one that I bought. El Cielo de Acero. I had no idea about this book or the author. I found her on Instagram, like in a random post, like it said this is a Chilean science fiction novel, and I was like, hey, I want your book. Cool. So I bought it, and I didn't even know the publisher, which the name of it is it's Orlando Press. So this is cool. I'm gonna see how it is, but as I said, I haven't read it yet. I have no idea about it, but cool thing. So this video in particular, let's see. Yeah, I don't want to make this video long. That long. I know. It's gonna be long anyway, probably. But who cares? It's okay. I was thinking Residente's song, you know? Esto lo hago para divertirme. Anyway, so one of my favorite books of all time. That's the thing I want to say in this video, as well as show that I'm alive. But well, so what is one of my favorite books? I might say it is my favorite book of all time, but I don't believe in that. I think that could change. But this is probably one of my favorites of all of them. And it is. This is a moment where you can take a guess, but nah. So this is it. It's Clout Atlas. Clout Atlas. Well, Atlas. You know what I mean. So Clout Atlas by David Mitchell. So I truly love this book, and I think it's beautiful. The book itself, you know, the object book. I think this is not the first edition, or at least it's not. This is an American edition. That's what I know. I think the first one was from the UK. Because I remember that the first time I learned about this book, there was a different cover, and then I got this one, which I love. And so it's a beautiful book in terms of what I was saying, the book itself. You know how books in America, they have this different type of paper. Here in Chile, it's not the same. It's a different like model. It's a different structure of the book itself. It's interesting, and the book is beautiful. I can't express it enough. I love the colors, the contrast, this mosaic. Oh, interesting. This mosaic of images, I just love it. So yeah, Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell, one of my favorite books of all times. And so, what is it about? Why do I like it so much? This novel, it's uh, how to say? It's a novel made by five. I believe it was five. I read it a long time ago, but I believe it was five stories. It's a novel made by other stories in different periods of times. Oh well, there is the film. There is a film. If you've seen the film, you know what this is about. So well, yeah, you probably, now that I think about it, you probably know about it in the film. So it's about different stories at a different time, but interconnected, kind of through some kind of life soul thing within characters. In the movie it's more explicit. In the novel, I think I remember that it was not that explicit, but it's five different stories in different eras of time, and you kind of know that the characters are like the same souls, same souls at different moments in their life, but everything is connected. And so the novel, it starts from a chapter in, like old period, a sailor from back centuries ago, and the final one, it's a chapter that happens, I believe it was in Korea. It's of course in the future, and it's amazing. And besides that structure, the structure of the novel itself, which is, you may say, not something new, but what is really, really, really cool, I think, and what's so interesting about the book itself, is that each story, like each part of it, it's written with a different type of English. The book is in English. I read it, the first time I read it was in English, so I do have that kind of bias in terms of how difficult it was for me to read this book. Because, so David Mitchell, he's got a thing with words and with language itself. And for example, in the chapter that's the oldest one, it's like in old English, and it was so hard for me to read it, but I enjoyed it. And because I remember I read this when I had a lot of time, so I had the time to read it with all the time in the world. But it's awesome how every chapter he changes it. He also changes the point of perspective, the type of narration, the type of story itself, like who's telling the story, how is it going to be told, etc. So it's a whole puzzle that he makes into this, and the result is wonderful. It was one of the finalists for the Man Booker Prize, just to say, to mention something about it. So, love the story. It's really emotional, and it's also like one of those books that when you read, you can just imagine how hard it could be to actually write this. It's already hard to read it. I can imagine how hard it was to write it. So I really like it. And I also, of course, I have really good memories with this book. I think, every time that you appreciate a book, or when you mention a book is one that you really, really enjoy, there is always a moment in your life or an emotion that's associated with it, right? I think that's inevitable. Of course, there's going to be, people who's going to say that, yeah, books can be analyzed in a more way. But to me, it's always intertwined with the moment I read it, how I read it, and the conditions I were when I read it. And I have a very special connection with this book, because this one in particular, I remember I got this book, many years ago, and it was when this book came out. There was no Spanish version of it. It was only in English, and I really wanted to read it. And I remember that my wife, she went with her family to California. I think it was just for holidays. And I asked her, if you find the book, please buy it for me. And so she found it. So she bought it, and she brought it back to me. But I did not read it in Chile, because I remember, I don't know, I had other books pending. You always have many books to read. And then later on, when I went to live in the US in 2015, one of the books that I took with me was this, because I wanted to read it. And as I mentioned before, at that time, that year was the perfect year. And I remember that I had a lot of time. So I think I spent more than a month, like reading this book, like only dedicated to reading this book. That's everything I did, and I enjoyed it. By the way, I'm one of those type of person. I can be, you know, in isolation and be fine. So I remember that the main activity of my life for about a month was just, you know, I would wake up at 9 a.m., take some coffee, and start reading this book. And remember, it's in English, and it's a tough read. So so to me, that I speak Spanish, of course I can speak in English and all of that, but try to read it. If you're a Spanish speaker, just try to read it, and you'll see what I mean. First chapter is a whole challenge. But I remember I read it like with a dictionary right next to me, and it was like every 10 words dictionary, and so far. Finally, I got the rhythm of it, but it took me a long time. But I had no hurry. I really had no hurry at all. And I still remember that when I finished it, it was like, oh my God, it's been 84 years, like the meme. But it's a beautiful novel. It's a wonderful book. I really treasure it. I like the story itself, the book itself, and the moment when I read it and everything. It's just good memories in here. If you're wondering if it's science fiction, it does have science fiction in it. I believe it's probably it would require. It's hard to put it into a category in particular. I mean, I could argue, if I need to say this is science fiction, I can do that. You know, I can do theoretical work of words and everything, blah blah. That's a sport. But it's just really good book, and it does have enough science fiction, at least for me, to be able to read it. That's usually the only thing that I ask for. That it has a little bit of science fiction at least, and that's it. So, well, that's about it. As always, the short video ended up being really long. I'm not sure how many of you are gonna stay up until the end. It's okay. I just survived COVID. It's okay. But yeah, it's a beautiful book. If you can read it, go ahead. It's an invitation. I believe there is a Spanish version nowadays of the book itself, so I wonder how they did it. I cannot imagine how this could be translated, like, for real. I'm not sure how that worked. It took them a lot of years, so I bet it's gonna be fantastic. But anyway, in English, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I do try to read in Spanish every time I can. I try not to read that much in English just because it takes a lot of effort. Because I'm a slow reader. I don't like to read fast. I read really slow. Because I enjoy like every bit of information. So well, anyway, I'm not sure what I was gonna say. The thing is, Clout Atlas, I really love this book. The channel it's on. Hopefully there's going to be more videos, more into Chilean science fiction. I want to tell you about how Worldcon went, by the way. I was in the US a couple of months ago, so that was a cool story. But more of that to come, I believe. And hope you enjoyed this video, and that's it. If you have a skin condition question, you can always ask that as well. Anyway, just a chilling video. Take care. Bye.